I made $20,000 yesterday and I ain't even jump up out the bed. Bag a leg, take a rent until he got the bed, walking like I'm Fred. Bonnie Rubble riding in the bubble, but it's stolen, watching for the feds. Made $20,000 yesterday, little boy, you heard what I said. You came in and rockin' the
It's the dark skin cinema. Here we go. They gotta subscribe, like, and comment down below if they
I almost said Well, why is it wet, bro? Make sure that you do not forget to post notification bell, because that's how you be notified every single time we post. But listen, first and foremost, shout out to the top 10 for having this video for us to react to.
Hey, look, man, Instagram popping up right now. Yeah, like y'all already seen the title, we got 10 top scary internet theories. Is it really scary though?
Top 10 scary top 10 scary top 10 scary internet theories.
Y'all got to
top
right
10
now.
scary.
Y'all know if y'all put a lighter in the water, it doesn't burn, man.
Cap.
It's not cap, it's facts, man.
You saw it on TikTok?
Yeah, bro, this black ass nigga.
He was lying.
But not everybody, because I guess the water, like, if the water is cold, it doesn't. No, the water doesn't let the bottom of the. It's like a barricade or something. It doesn't let it burn. Shit, you don't hold it for long, nigga. You got to be like.
Nah, if you hold it long enough, that shit will bust.
No, we can test out.
We'll test it out right there. We'll test it, nigga. You got we can get a stick, put that motherfucker on the stove and just.
It's not gonna do nothing. Let's get straight into it.
Everyone, what is happening? I'm your host, Eamon Hassan, and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Don't we all just love conspiracy theories? I think the best one I ever watched long videos about was actually the Illuminati. My friend told me that conspiracy videos about it, so I decided to look into it, and I was like, wow. I felt like I was dumb, and the world as I knew it was just not how it seemed. But anyway, Illuminati aside, there are way too many conspiracy theories circulating on the internet, so let's dig our teeth into them. Before I start my spiel, make sure to check out Top 10 Indie videos as well, guys, for more me and more cool content. Subtitled, don't you worry. This one is a long one, but I promise you it is worth it, so stick with me. But without further ado, this is the top 10 scary internet conspiracy theories. Starting us off with number 10 is Madeleine McCann, and honestly, I remember the day she disappeared. I was in about, I think, year 6 at the time, and she was all over the news. If you don't know the case, Madeleine was a 3-year-old British girl who was on holiday in Portugal with her siblings, their parents Kate and Jerry, and a group of family friends and their children. She and her siblings were sleeping while the parents were out for dinner, and the parents checked back and found her missing at around 10 p.m. Now the parents adamantly backed the story that a man had kidnapped Madeleine, and a man had been seen carrying a child towards the beach that night. She's been missing for nearly 12.
I'm gonna lie, that's a fucking fear, bro. Like, now that I think about it, it's like you don't really think about that shit. Like when it comes to kids, like when you have a kid. Like just imagine.
Keeps it on.
No, just imagine like you just go and check out like at nighttime, just go and check in their room and that nigga's not there, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be scared. Yo,
it's like I have a lot of fears when it comes to like having kids, like and all that. But nigga going into the room and not seeing my kid there, bro. I'm being a
Bro,
this shit gonna look like taking, huh?
Nigga, like all jokes aside, bro, I will kill. Nigga, I know I might not seem like that shit, but for. I will find
12 years.
I will find
that shit. But when you come to family, bro, that shit is a different feeling, bro. You can't fuck with shit like that, bro.
Like family is different, bro.
I mean, kid, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, nigga, having your own kid and seeing that shit just go missing. Like, nigga, bro, the world gonna feel that shit. Call the cops, man. I'm beating up everybody I see on the street. I'm too much kid.
I'm be off the Jesus, bro. Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
Go down. I will hunt.
Now, and people have theorized that she was actually killed the night she disappeared by none other than her parents. Eyewitnesses around the hotel at the time claimed they saw a man walking away with a rolled up carpet, but the description fit Jerry McCann quite well. Kate and Jerry had even admitted that sometimes they gave the kids sleeping pills so they could go out. If that was the case, what if that night Madeleine accidentally OD'd and just spiraled from there and they just had to cover it up? The parents have been under media scrutiny for this reason for years. And you know what they say, there's no smoke without fire. fire. Coming in at number 9 is the murder of Isaac Hayes. Hayes was a singer, songwriter, producer, and voice actor. He was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and was also behind the hit song Soul Man. He was also best known for voicing Jerome Chef McElroy on the cartoon series South Park. But Hayes was also a Scientologist, and without getting too into it, the Church of Scientology does not take kindly to people.
No disrespect, hope he's alive and God rest his soul, but that nigga can smell your fucking farts.
But that's what I'm saying, but that nigga knows fat as hell.
No, we gonna cut that out. That's fucked up.
I'm here, bro.
That nigga, you smell what I'm thinking.
You see my shit?
I see my shit. We all got flat noses.
Like that nigga really just said,
God,
I smell no.
damn, bro.
Oh, you think about hamburgers.
Nigga can smell a bully keep from a mile away.
He can smell fried chicken from me.
Bad to say about it. The episode Trapped in the Closet aired on November 16th, 2005, and Hayes was not in it as chef because the episode made fun of Scientology and Tom Cruise, a fellow Scientologist and probably the most well-known one out there. He then left the show altogether, probably because the church forced him to, and he claimed the series treated religion as satirical and that those beliefs are sacred to a lot of people. Even though the series had bashed many religions throughout its 9 seasons before that, Hayes drew the line at Scientology. The episode was the first time the origin myth of Scientology was told on primetime television, so then it was theorized that the Church of Scientology labeled him a suppressive person and murdered him in his home. In Scientology, a suppressive person is someone who the church perceives as an enemy and someone who would hinder other people in the religion. Hayes was found dead in his home in August 2008. His body was found next to a still running treadmill and the cause of death was never confirmed. It's also rumored that the head of Scientology's wife has also been killed because she hasn't been seen in public in years, and I'm talking maybe even a decade. At number 8 we have Time as We Know It. You thought it was 2019? Think again. It's apparently actually 1722. The Phantom Time hypothesis was a historical conspiracy theory which stated that the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII, and Pope Sylvester II all worked together to fabricate the Anno Domini dating system in order to put themselves in power in the special year of 1000 AD. They achieved this by forging and altering documents and physical evidence, and according to the theory, the whole Carolingian period wasn't real and a phantom time of 297 years was added to the early Middle Ages. So were the early Middle Ages made up? I love how these leaders literally changed the calendar just because they wanted to be in power in a certain year. Filling our number 7 slot is Denver Airport. This airport opened back at the start of 1995, a whole 16 months behind schedule, and it also cost a whopping $4.8 billion, which is over $2 billion more than originally budgeted, and it's 35,000 acres big. Conspiracy theories have been surrounding the airport since its creation. People think there's a post-apocalyptic bunker underneath that the world's elite can flock to if anything happens. The decor of the airport is unusual, you could say. There's a 32-foot Blue Devil bull sculpture outside, many violent murals inside which show apocalyptic warfare, and a one world government that will take over. There's a sculpture of a devil coming out of a suitcase and Templar markings in every terminal. The airport's dedication stone contains Masonic imagery and New World Order references. Like, it doesn't say the state of Denver funded it, it just says the New World Airport Commission. An ex-construction worker of the project actually said the reason construction was so behind was because at least 5 multi-story buildings were built and then mysteriously buried underneath the airport. Him and other employees all stated that there's a very complex network of tunnels underneath the establishment.
I don't know, now I'm thinking about some of these airports, but they trying to be big as fuck, not for them to like. But I feel like there actually do be some shit underground, bro. Like, look how big these motherfucking airports are, bro. There's gotta be some.
There's gotta be some type of secret, like
shit at the bottom of that motherfucker, bro. I know it says just Denver.
I know it's not even only airports, bro. They're like buildings and shit.
Yeah, all
too.
these
Like,
big ass buildings.
big ass rising buildings, bro. Nigga, bro. They got some shit that they like secret place.
You gotta have some.
You don't know what the fuck is going on there, bro.
But with all that being said, what's the tea, people? Now at number 6 are psychedelics. Maybe shrooms, LSD, whatever you want. Now, if you don't know or haven't guessed from the name, psychedelic drugs have the primary function of creating psychedelic experiences in your mind, hence changing your audio and visual senses and just altering your state of consciousness overall. Some studies have found that these drugs actually help people who are addicted to nicotine or alcohol, and they are actually 100% physiologically safe and do not lead to addiction. Most of these drugs are illegal worldwide, despite people still doing them all the time anyway. The conspiracy theory comes from user, well, Me123, who thinks psychedelics aren't illegal because the government cares about us and wants the best for our well-being and for us to not trip out on drugs. No, quite the contrary. They're illegal because they change the culturally laid down models of behavior we have, they change the way we process information, and they dissolve our opinion structures. Psychedelics open people up to the possibility that everything we know is wrong, and that can really make us question the government, which is exactly what they want.
If you have to do some drugs like that for you to know that, you doing something wrong with you.
I'm here,
you not wrong,
hold on, bro. Come on now, bro. They paying niggas to take a COVID shot.
So basically, all that says is it enhances your common sense.
It's crazy people gotta go and eat a mushroom and enhance their common sense. Like, just be like, you know what?
That bitch is common sense for a goddamn reason, bitch.
So about those stimulus.
Isn't that basically what that isn't basically what that drug is? It enhances your common sense, like how you perceive shit.
Like them PPP loans. Niggas needed some fucking psychedelics to know that, damn, I shouldn't be taking $1 million.
Damn, what drug is that? The psychedelic drug?
Yeah, the psychedelic.
That's a theory. Bro?
Let me tell you about the Jesus Christ drug. This get you stuck. This get you taken off and stuck on stupid. You'd be like, Jesus, what's going on with the government?
Common sense gonna be like these.
Real quick, man. Like, bro, that's crazy, man.
Coming in at number 5 is the Roswell cover-up. Most people will know that in 1947, an apparent UFO crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. But that's not the story that was actually released. What was released was that an Air Force hot air balloon had simply crashed on a ranch in Roswell, but many believe that the government was just covering that up. Many ufologists began saying that it was an alien spacecraft that crash-landed and the extraterrestrials aboard were recovered by the military and the whole thing was hidden. Newman the Great on Reddit theorized that it was hidden because they knew there would be widespread panic. In 1938, Orson Welles did a radio broadcast of a book called War of the Worlds, in which aliens come to Earth and screw
Yeah, but I believe it, but they did try to hide COVID.
You know, back in the day too, they used to actually fake on radio stations, like radios were like, you know, relatively new. They used to fake UFO sightings, so they would actually have like somebody like the commentator on the radio, the broadcast, acting like as if he's seeing a UFO and witnessing a UFO attack right now. Because World of the Worlds, I don't know if y'all know what that book is, but it originally started off as like a book, and everybody was fearful of that shit. It was like scary as fuck to know that there was like extraterrestrial. And so there was like they would do it all the time. Like there would be like a fake emergency broadcast where the news reporters like, oh my god, there's a UFO right here. Oh my god, there's people are dying and all that. And it would scare people. And like they used to actually fake that shit on radios.
You know what's crazy? There was a point in time where humans didn't know there was other humans. Like Christopher Columbus's dumbass. Like, bro, just imagine sailing across the ocean and you get to a whole new land. You're like, wow, there's people here. Like, bro, were we really that dumb? like, come on now, bro.
Yeah, that's true. This thing is stupid. How much people here?
People believed it, and there was a lot of havoc. So if there was that much freaking out over a radio broadcast, then you should want to imagine the horror if people started finding out a flying disc had crashed into Earth. However, by the 1990s, the US military had said the object was a nuclear test balloon from Project Mogul. But even still, people weren't convinced. At number 4 is the Mandela effect. Have you ever been so sure about an event, but when you talk about it to a friend, they have a completely different recollection of that event, that you both believe what you know to be true? Well, welcome to the Mandela effect. The effect was coined by paranormal enthusiast Fiona Broom, who believed Nelson Mandela had died in prison in the 80s. She created the term when she found out that she was one amongst many others who also thought Mandela had died. And it wasn't just because, oh, they hadn't heard about him in a while, he probably died in prison. Fiona vividly remembered media coverage of Mandela's funeral in 2010 and riots in the aftermath. She realized groups of people remember history differently to others. Like someone remembered the protester that defied the tanks at the Tiananmen Square massacre was run over by them, and that's what they were actually taught in school, whereas footage shows the tanks stopping. So according to this conspiracy theory, these memories are accounted for by time travelers who have changed history and thus have created alternate realities. Some of us have moved between those realities, so we remember stuff that has been written out of our timeline. The biggest example is the children's book, The Berenstain Bears. Now half the people believe it's Stein with an E, and others are adamant that it was with an A. I mean, it was a spelling change for whatever reason in one timeline and not the other, who knows? Do you remember with an A or an E? Let me know in the comments below. Filling out number 3 start as JFK's assassination. Even before scripting this video, I just knew some American president was going to be on this list, and here he is. People have been speculating for decades that JFK's assassination was a planned conspiracy. According to a survey done in 2013, 51% of Americans believe it was a conspiracy. That's more than half the public. That's a high freaking number, so let's find out why they think that. Many eyewitnesses of the assassination claim they were intimidated by the Warren Commission. Jean Hill, an eyewitness, said she was humiliated and discredited and abused by Secret Service agents, and she received death threats. She said the Warren Commission interviewers kept cutting any comments that implied Lee Harvey Oswald hadn't acted alone when he shot JFK. On top of that, many witnesses just mysteriously died. 103 people died, and all the deaths were grouped around investigations carried out by the Warren Commission. People's testimonies were ignored if they didn't fit the original story, and anyone who captured the assassination on camera had it confiscated. Author David Lifton even presented the thesis that JFK's body had been tampered with between the hospital and the autopsy site. Evidence was fabricated, documents were withheld. Many people think Oswald was hired by the KGB or CIA to assassinate JFK, and the real truth is yet to be found. Now at number 2 is Hitler. Yes, everybody hates the man for good reason, and we all know that. Everyone also knows that he committed suicide along with his wife in 1945, and that his adjutant entered his study and found both bodies. That was a story, and that was what was believed. But deaths have been faked before, and if there's anything you've learned from this video by now, is that you shouldn't always believe the government.
Come on, bro. Y'all know that, bro. Like, let's not act like there's, bro. If it can be an idea on a movie, like niggas has definitely scripted their death, bro.
Man, I know y'all know who Jeffrey Epstein is, bro. I feel like that nigga not dead yet, bro. They fake that nigga's death, bro.
But that's what it's like, bro. Who have we know that actually like done that shit?
I don't
I mean,
know.
you're not gonna know.
There's people that
Even their own
done
family
that
don't
they
be
caught.
knowing, bro. Their own family don't be knowing that it's scripted.
But somebody has to at least.
There's people that have done that and gotten caught, but it's not like super famous people like this.
Yeah. It's hard to. I mean, because when you're super famous like this, and like, I feel like it's easier if you're super famous like, and you can actually afford to like change your whole life, change your identity, change the way you look. Bro, I feel like it can be done. I mean,
But yeah, y'all saw that video of this guy talking about some. If everybody know who's behind Bitcoin, everybody will take all their money out. Yeah. Nigga, bro, what if it's Adolf Hitler or motherfucking Jeffrey Epstein or one of them? Nigga, that faking is real, bro. You can be one of them niggas.
If it's an idea,
Hitler on Bitcoin, nigga, shit.
Like if you could think of it, bro,
it's like gonna put it on there, bro.
If you can think of it, it's
alright.
I'm gonna be up.
No, because that shit is dangerous too. Like, imagine trying to fake your death, and like everybody thinks you're dead, but you're alive, and there are niggas trying to kill you for real. Like, imagine that shit, and you can't do nothing because everybody thinks you're dead, and niggas actually kill you for real and try to clone you or some shit. That shit is scary.
Yo, imagine faking your death and someone who wants to actually kill you kills you or tries to kill you, and you can't call the police.
You can't do shit.
You can't call. Who you gonna call, nigga?
Jesus.
You better call on
I
Jesus.
feel like them niggas go to like a different country and just buy like a
But still, regardless,
but it's not.
You can be followed.
The country.
That's the thing. You can be followed.
I mean, that's the same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. They thought he was sick because he has his own like island that you just take all this young girl to and you just go like fucking do all this bullshit up to him, bro. Nigga shit wild, bro.
Hey, bro, but with the Cheeto mustache and all that, bro.
This nigga ugly as shit,
ahead, get
bro. This nigga nose look like motherfucking card. Exhaustion.
Said mischief 1989, and many others. Hitler actually didn't die, he escaped to Argentina. I mean, Argentina isn't that random. A lot of Nazis fled and relocated to Argentina, and apparently there were many tunnels in his house leading him directly to a getaway airfield. All of Hitler's most precious possessions were found hidden away in a family home in Argentina. The country also had a lot of towns that supported him, and there was even schools teaching Aryan youth. And by the time he apparently committed suicide, the German military situation was basically on the verge of total collapse, so he really didn't have much to lose at that point. So if he had a chance of escaping and surviving and being protected anywhere, it would have been Argentina. And finally, last but not least, at number 1 is the Titanic. Mine certainly didn't after Rose Snake jumped.
You know they didn't let no black people on the boat?
I'm there.
They didn't let no black nigga on the boat.
That's why niggas be like, let me try the boat.
That's crazy.
That's why black nigga didn't die, bro. That's good for us.
Like that's fucked up.
Nobody died.
I mean, a lot of black niggas. That's crazy. Y'all didn't let no black nigga on the boat.
A lot of black niggas already died off a boat.
That's good, bro.
I mean,
Good, man.
I mean, nigga, I ain't gonna say it's a good thing. That's fucked up, but it's like shit happened. Because I don't wish death on nobody. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, of course.
But it's inevitable for everybody. But it's like just because it didn't happen to your people, it shouldn't be like, oh, that's a sigh of relief. Nah,
I ain't gonna lie, we all bleed, bro. I'm sorry that motherfuckers died on this boat. But you niggas didn't think to like maybe like, dang, we about to hit ice. Maybe I should like try to turn around. Or
I forgot how the movie went.
No, wasn't it like they couldn't see it?
Yeah, I think it was like they couldn't see because
it was like last second they seen it. You know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy? The Titanic wasn't even supposed to sink. Like it didn't even hit it wasn't even an iceberg that sunk the ship.
Yeah, they said something was already wrong with the ship.
Yeah, it was already something wrong with it. And then what the iceberg did was just trigger it more. Like the initial impact wasn't supposed to like sink the ship.
According to this theory, it wasn't the Titanic that sank on that ill-fated day on the 15th of April 1912. It was actually the RMS Olympic. Let's backtrack. The White Star Line shipping company made a trio of Olympic-class liners: the Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannic. Now, these three ships looked very similar. If you see a picture of the Titanic and the Olympic side by side, unless you're nitpicking, they look identical. September 20th, 1911, the Olympic collided with another ship and it had to be taken out of service and repaired. This meant the Titanic's journey had to be delayed a month, which is something White Star Line couldn't afford. They had bills to pay and they also had to repair the Olympic, so they had to come up with some sort of plan to claim the money they lost. They decided to switch the Titanic with the Olympic and sink it to claim insurance compensation. Now, no one knew about the switch except the employees and the four men in charge: J. Bruce Ismay, Lord Peary, J.P. Morgan, and Thomas Andrews. The Olympic underwent renovations to look exactly like the Titanic. Carpeting was put on the floorboards so people wouldn't be suspicious as to why a never-before-traveled ship had footprints and stains on its boards. However, there was one notable difference: the portholes on the sea deck. When the Titanic was being made, it had 14 evenly spaced portholes, but when it set out on its journey, it had 16 unevenly spaced ones. On top of that, many employees had come out and said they were told they couldn't tell anyone about the swap, otherwise they would be put in jail for 20 years and this would be the last job they ever did. If that doesn't convince you, then maybe this one will. The four owners were all magically unable to take part in the journey after confirming they would be on the ship. J.P. Morgan cancelled because he was sick, but was spotted 2 days later completely fine, and he even took 7 of his bronze statues off the ship before it left. J. Bruce Ismay cancelled his trip because his wife was sick, but they were also spotted completely fine. Another ship, the SS Californian, had no passengers on it when it left London. It just had a bunch of blankets and warm clothes for the Titanic passengers. But the captain forgot to take his wireless chart, hence it never got to the Titanic, but it did set out to save the people on the ship. There's a lot more to this story, even though it feels like I've said the whole thing, but this is the main meter there. I didn't want to shorten it because I was like, no way, they definitely need all the info. And guys, that's it for today's video. I know this one was mega long, but thank you if you stuck with me till the end. Let me know which conspiracy theories you knew of before, or which ones.
I never knew any. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't know none of them shits, bro.
Yo, son, I thought I had a theory, bro. I don't.
You lost it?
She got all of them, bro. Bro, this is the theory. This is the final boss of theory monsters, bro.
The final boss.
That is
actually
nigga, the Titanic, bro, nigga. How do people come across to just build something that big, bro?
But didn't they discover the Titanic, like the actual, like, did they?
You think the Titanic big, bro?
So when they remade the shit, did they like change the name from Olympus to like Titanic or some shit? Because
they said they remade like 2 of them. And then they just changed the name.
Both that look alike.
I'm gonna show y'all some shit. Have you ever seen like a big boat in real life?
I mean, I have.
A big, like a ship or
a ship.
I think Titanic was one of the biggest boats ever, and they stopped making boats that big.
But I
think after the Titanic, they stopped making boats that big. Unless it's like yacht boats or something.
Nah, nigga, what you go, bro? We gotta go to Newport, Virginia, bro. Bro, you will see the Navy base, bro, and the boats. They're not boats, boy. Them Jones is ships, my boy. That shit was like, but
you talking about the one where the jets be taking off or something?
No.
Nah, it's an actual like naval base where they have all the big ships, bro. That shit was scary, dog. But that joint was like so high up in the air, and you just be looking at that joint like this.
It looked like a high-rise in
bro, that joint was as wide as like probably like three of these houses, bro.
Listen, Hitler has fucking tunnels on this in his fucking house.
I mean, yeah. I I believe that.
That should lead to fucking Argentina.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. If my broke black butt was already thinking about doing something like that, like, yo, I need some tunnels in my house.
Come on, you honestly think Hitler didn't have nowhere to escape?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's a whole ass leader, bro.
Bro, he was the hated man, the most hated man of his time, bro.
In the world, nigga. In the whole world.
I'm pretty sure that nigga got fucking escaped.
Like, you know damn well that nigga got escaped.
That nigga got.
Like, what the fuck you going? Oh, I'm at a dead end. It's my time now.
Hell no, the nigga got a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D.
That nigga, like, come on, like, what leader of your country is going to come to a fight? And he came, but what the fuck make you think that? Okay, yeah, if something go left, we don't got a plan B.
Right. Even the White House, bro. White House got a goddamn bunker in that motherfucker. Nigga.
I mean,
touching that.
After White House, look, they got it, bro.
The president got an escape route, my nigga. I'm pretty sure.
But like, nigga, but it's not like but it's not that. Like, even though I feel like this is way more than the bunker with the White House because. But like I said, this nigga went to the fight. Hitler went to the fight, and it's not like all right. If you go past this, it's a dead end. Like you not nigga. You know damn well like if you going into a fight, you gonna at least have a retreating point for your boss, bro.
Right.
Like the president is something different because the president is like a defense. So if the defense go left, okay, maybe we can resort to moving you from right here to right here through this secret little. Like, come on, you know they got more than just this goddamn bunker, bro.
It's crazy. Niggas really like sacrifice their life just to protect presidents or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, like you know the president about to get his ass fucked up. Now you got like 200 soldiers around him, catching bullets on their body, nigga, and dying just. So that the president can get in the bunker type shit.
Yeah, that's a crazy
nigga.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm unpatriotic, bro. As soon as Dogecoin crashed, I'm like, man, screw this.
Alright, bro. That'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you're new. God loves you. Jesus loves you. And we are.